Hello everybody, Mariner here and welcome to Net That Haul. It's game week 3 and today, just for timestamp purposes, it's Thursday, I think. Yes, Thursday morning in Singapore, and today I'm joined Wednesday afternoon in Phoenix, Arizona by FPL Lens, aka Gabe. How are you doing, my friend?
Hi, Mr. Mariner. I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited that we've doubled our knowledge and here in FPL after the second game week, and lots of questions flying around.
There are, not least some disagreements between us two as well. But there we go. We'll come on to that a little bit later. It might be a bit interesting. But anyway, let's just go through the usual bits and bobs. So, who are we? Well, we're Net That Haul. We would obviously, if you like what you see, please do give us a like, hit subscribe, and hit the bell as well for notifications. Comment below anything, get involved in the chat as well. There's changes afoot within Net That Haul to let you know. We're trying to hit that algo. You know what it's like with YouTube, Gabe. If we don't hit the algo, you don't grow. So we're trying a new week of content, and so let us know how you think to that as well. Nima's done his transfer trends. Supposed to be 10 minutes, was 23. Says it all. Talks too much, that lad. I'm trying to pack my content into 1 minute, which, believe me, is bloody hard. Because I talk too much.
I love how Nima introduces the video. It's like, it's going to be no longer than 10 minutes, and people already know it's 20 minutes. It's
like 23 minutes long. Exactly. Perfect. It made me laugh a lot. And you're going to have a go at some shorts as well. I'm not talking about wearing them. You're going to start with some shorts and some VODs as well with respect to your NetxG and your predictions. I understand.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to give those a shot. Maybe this afternoon, maybe a few tomorrow.
Grand. Super job. What else have we got to tell you? Well, of course, you can also pick this up as a pod, Spotify, Apple. If you do happen to find somewhere where you can leave a 5-star review, please do. It helps the show. We're also on TikTok, whatever that is. So I've been messing around with that. Please come along and follow the TikTok channel. You've got a dinosaur looking after it right now in me. So God help us how bad it's going to be compared to some of these young punks who are out there doing TikTok. I've been looking some of it. I'm not doing some of the shit that they do on TikTok, right? No way.
Mariner, you're one of those punks. You become one of those punks now.
Oh my goodness. And of course, I'm trying to resurrect the Instagram as well. But that's easy because all I do is share it straight from TikTok to Instagram. I've worked that one out. That's really easy. So yeah, please, Net That Haul, trying to grow. If and if you've got a particular skill set out there, and you want to help us, please give us a shout. If you are fantastic at TikTok and want to get involved, send me a message because I would love to hear from you. Same with Instagram because we can only do so much in the working week, and also, of course, do Net That Haul. Gabe, let's move on to the mini league. In fact, not the mini league. Before we do the mini league, let's give the haulers a shout out. If you would like to join the merry band of haulers, which I'll put onto the screen right now, then we would love to have you come and see us in the Discord chat. I was in the voice chat for about an hour last night, having a really nice chat with Dread and Blonde and a few others. It's great fun. I really enjoy it, and it's much easier to get a question answered nowadays in Discord than it is anywhere else during the week. So if you've got something you want to ask us, please do come into the Discord and give us a shout. Gabe, let's shout the super haulers and then the haulers out.
Okay, our super haulers they are William Frick, Daddy Bot, Greenback Golf, Sarah Gatsby, and FPL Robbie. Thank you for being super. And the haulers right next to them are, let's see how my eyesight is, FPL DG Boy 88, Lindsay O, Tavindra Raj, FPL Casuals, Tom Gorsuch, Tursex, Stuart Fletcher, Kieran Turner, Mr. Twister 242, Blonde, S. Scotters M, Firetog, FPL Teacher, FPL Rubber Ducky, Oscar Arias, Donny FPL, FPL Mike Halpin, Sean Burke, Jack Daglish, Neha Kulkami, Podna FPL Craig, and Dread FPL. Thank you guys so much. Guys and girls so much. It really helps. You have no idea how much it helps. And honestly, it's really nice getting to know everybody, like you said in the Discord.
I really enjoy it. I have to say, I had a lovely chat. We were chatting about all sorts last night. It wasn't just FPL. There's quite a lot of discussion about how FPL makes you feel. Things like that. I was talking about I was talking about, how can it possibly make me feel worse than work does?
We'll get to the philosophy of the week, Mariner. Maybe the philosophy can answer that question.
There we go. Yeah. Well, before we get to the philosophy, should we say hello to a few people as well? Yes. So we've got Nipper-chan in the chat. We've got Kevin here as well, although I think he's probably sleeping. He tends to be at this time of night. Ramanthan is in as well. William's here, one of the haulers. Hi, William. Nick Khan. Hi. Thavindra Raj, another hauler. Hi, mate. Yanzi. Same time zone as me, apparently. Good for you, mate. Good that somebody else has got up. L. Ron Cupboard. Never heard of that. Well, that's a strange name. Who else have we got? Steve's here. Kieran's here. Hello, son. How are you doing? FPL Mike Halpin is here as usual. Turks is one of our haulers as well. And Connor Hunt as well. Who's just appeared in the Discord chat, actually. This overnight, I noticed.
Excellent.
So hello, Connor. How are you doing? Hello, mate. Hello. Gabe, I think it's time that we got into the philosophy, I think. So
I think we'll do the Minileague first.
Oh, crikey. Sorry, Minileague. Oh, yes, I forgot that. Why did I think we'd done the Minileague? I'm losing my mind. It's all right, though.
Maybe you just haven't
through this Minileague, then.
You haven't found your mind yet because it's so early.
That's true.
Well, let's get here's the top 10 in the mini league. We'll go through them quite quickly here. FPL Alta, Where's Wally, and Rafi Rangers are in three-way tie. Then above them we have FPL Noob, who captained De Bruyne and had 96 points this game week, which was excellent. Well done there. Pranay Nandakumar. Sorry. Then right above them we have Finpa Noe Feta.
That's the team name, by the way.
That's the team name.
I mean, thank God that's you and not me. That would be a disaster, wouldn't it?
I'm understanding why I'm the one reading these today. I completely understand. We have they're in a tie with Shomi Damane, Average Bobs, and Center of Excellence. They're all on 163 points, and they all captained Holland this past game week. In second place is Fox River. This is Brad Curry, who I think he was top 10 or top 5 in the mini league last year, or top 10 in the end by the end of the season, right? He's used some chips, so he's up in second place with 164 points. And just edging by him is Sleeping Jimmy's Peter Scullion, who captained De Bruyne this game week, and he to the tune of 83 points. And first place of our mini league. So first place is 12.7K. It's the overall rank. Not that means anything at this point, but basically that's an excellent rank for any time of the season, but especially right at the beginning. Nice to get that jump.
It's a super rank, and kudos to him for captaining KDB. We did say on Net That Haul last week that KDB was an excellent captaincy shout. Not many people went there. I just physically couldn't get there. He was a great captaincy shout. Good to see Brad there again. It made me laugh, though, because he did send me a message and he said, "Oh, Chris, I'm in second place in the mini league." I said, "That's nice." He said, "It'll all go to shit later," he said, like last year. Always starts off like a train and then goes wrong later. It's not going to this year, Brad. And congratulations on your cricket, by the way. So there we go. I've heard the little rumour that a certain someone's been managed to play at Lords. So congratulations, Brad. That's a fabulous achievement for you. And a $5. So there we go. There's a little there's something for your cricketers. All right, Gabe.
I have no idea what language you're speaking right now.
Well,
I don't know what's going on.
Friends will know. So there we go. Well, yeah, none of you have strange ball games in the States, don't you? Really? Playing with odd-shaped balls.
That's true. They play. I think that it's Hand Egg is the name of that game. because it's the shape of an egg and you hold it in your hand. So, so it's not football. Thank you, Penguin, for becoming a member.
Just joined, and we love Penguin. We always go on his shows, don't we? So thank you very much, mate. If you did
Calvin,
the same, I would
and
join
he's on
back.
our team. And he's on the Net That Haul
team.
And
we won. And we won,
right?
The
first matchup.
In strikers, kickers, losers, weepers, whatever is.
That's right. We are...
whatever
that is, we're the strikers keepers.
Even Mark Sutton's finally realised he was part of our team. Amazing. Our MVP. We finally realised that he was actually part of a team.
Yep. We're going to call him the mummy. Coming back from the dead.
Right. Philosophy. We're going to get into so much trouble today. I've just got to finish. Right. Let's go. Philosophy of the week.
Okay, here we go. The philosophy of the week for Game Week 3 comes to us from Umberto Eco, an Italian philosopher and novelist. He wrote In the Name of the Rose. They made a movie of it, I think, in the late 80s. Is Christian Slater and Sean Connery. Actually, kind of interesting movie. So Umberto Eco says, I have come to believe that the whole world is an enigma, a harmless enigma that is made terrible by our own mad attempts to interpret it as though it had an underlying truth. So I'm going to peel this one apart for you, Mariner, because I can see
I think you need to, because I'll tell you what, it's just far too many words for 6 o'clock in the morning, let alone meanings.
That's fair. I'll repeat the quote one more time, and then I'll get into kind of like why I selected it this weekend. Is I have come to believe that the whole world is an enigma, a harmless enigma that is made terrible by our own mad attempt to interpret it as though it had an underlying truth. And so this is an accurate description of FPL as well. You know, like results won't, of course, always match the analyses and those and like that we make, or that, you know, we tell each other, that we tell ourselves, right? And those experiences make us, they feel terrible to us, like as though we have missed some underlying truth when the results do not match that analysis. So this is all like FPL, like life, like everything is all just like this harmless puzzle for which we are looking for different ways to describe. Our descriptions of the puzzle are not true any more than any language can be true. They are just that. They are just descriptions, and they are not to be confused also with reality itself.
Right. Okay. Oh God, this is so deep for the morning. Look, the world is an enigma. Well, I can think of a few players who are enigmas, let alone the world.
I can think of some managers that are enigmas.
That's definitely not players like Riyad Mahrez, right? But thank God he blanked. I'll tell you what, the computer would have flown out the window. But look, I'm going to tell you an enigma for me about FPL. A terrible enigma, not a harmless enigma. Pep Guardiola. Phil Foden being taken off at half-time, mate.
Should have passed the ball.
Get a bloody grip, Pep. I was laughing all the way to the bank, and then the TV nearly flew out the window again.
Should have passed the ball.
But I think that might be a reason why we could have won strikers, keepers, losers, weepers this week. Phil Foden, there we go. I think that helped towards it anyway. All right, mate. Well, good. It's always nice to see the philosophy. We do like it, but we've got to dive into the matchups, haven't we? Because we're going to look at all these matchups again, as we were doing, with a little bit. We'll look at each game. Some will do a bit more than others, but context of FPL lens and his eye test and his statistics. So based as a coach, which you are, Gabe.
I am.
Unlike someone like me, who basically just looks at numbers. Doesn't watch a lot of football.
Well, one thing I am not is a graphic designer, so I'm getting feedback on the design of these matchup reports, and I'm getting some help with them. So bear with me while I figure out a more kind of like a palatable way for these to be digested and presented and all of that.
Yes, you do suffer a bit with design.
I do. Fair.
Anyway, 14 minutes 53 for the timestamp. We will go Spurs versus Wolves.
Spurs versus Wolves. So again, these are like we're starting to get some stats now. We have 2 data points. We have a home game and an away game. But I would treat all of the stats as an initial indication of form, and that's it as far as this season stats for now. I think that we're just looking like what patterns are going to pop up. So these are just like places to look where things could pop up, and not necessarily any conclusions about anything that's actually going on. If I could give that caveat to begin with, because there will be a lot of stats, and we can't rely too heavily on them, in my opinion, this early in the season. All right. So from a chances perspective, this is like chances created, chances conceded, and all of that. Spurs, their chances created from the left, right, and center is 3, 10, and 10. So the lack of chances, I think, from the left-hand side is hurting Son, and I think Son's form has something to do with that. But pay attention to that, because I don't expect that to remain the same. If anything, this should actually even out by the end of the season, given Kulusevski's role and his growing influence. So if this evens out by the season, I expect things to kind of tilt back towards Son at some point, but I'm not ready to say exactly when that is. Wolves are susceptible down the flanks a little bit, so it could be in this upcoming match. Wolves, 0 for 3 big chances. We've been here before. Last season, they had a ton of chances. Adama Traore with all those chances, and this season it's been Pedro Neto, and Pedro Neto has not been able to put it away. Regarding the shots, just on Spurs here, they have the most shots on target this season with 13, and the second most shots in the 6. That's the SIX there. That's shots in the 6, with 5 shots in the 6 compared to 13 shots on target. So those are some nice numbers there from Spurs perspective. And the shots correlate to the NetxG number, which I'll get to momentarily. But the percentages there is based on a shots model, so that's why those are important. Expected stats, they outperform their expected goals non-penalty as usual, right? Plus 3.42. There's second for that. The most is Manchester City, which is over 4, which is something ridiculous in terms of their finishing. But their expected goals on target delta is plus 2.84. And so if you think of this is like the higher this number is, so this is goals minus expected goals on target. So that's like the quality of the shot. So they've scored plus 2.84 more goals than the quality of the shot would dictate. And that could be that's not good finishing, because good finishing would have a higher XGOT.
Could be shit goalkeeping. Could be shit
goalkeeping. Exactly. So
we'll come on to that. We'll come on to that when we talk about Brentford then. Right. Okay.
Really quick here, the Wolves' second worst expected, the second XG non-penalty underperformer. They're minus 1.73. So they should have scored more than they have. Again, they're just not finishing. And moving down to the NetxG, we have basically double for Spurs over Wolves, 1.41 compared to 0.77. And we see Spurs a decent chance of actually 3 goals, 12%. Is a decent chance there. More higher likelihood of 2 goals than 0 goals. So I would kind of tilt the graph that way and probably predict about 2 goals for Spurs, with a 29.8% chance of a clean sheet.
Yeah, they don't worry me as much this week as they do as they have in previous weeks. I've got to be honest. Spurs game week 1, I'm scared to death, and hence the reason for that stupid mistake actually of going Kane and then moving to Haaland, because it's made my game week a lot more complicated this week. So I've only got 1 transfer instead of 2. Them's the breaks.
One thing I want to say about Spurs and like their, in terms of how good can Kane be and what they're going to do with Richarlison and stuff like that moving forward. And this actually relates also to the way Villa play, whether they're going to play 2 up front or 3 up front. So Spurs went with the kind of 1 up top. It was like a 3-4-2-1, 1 against the back 3, and you can't play 1 against the back 3. There's too much cover there, and there's too much space for the other center backs to cover any like kind of runs from deep. So against the back 3, you have to play a front 2, and then once Richarlison came in the game, that kind of changed the game. And it was Richarlison up front, and I could see like it being Richarlison and Son up front, and Kulusevski drops with Kane in the 10. Like that, however that plays out, I think is going to be really interesting. So just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, as I say, we'll know more next week. Okay, right. Let's keep going. So the next one is Palace against Villa.
Palace against Villa. One thing I'll say about Palace is they've had two extremely difficult fixtures. I think they're about to blow up a little bit. So I'm quite bullish on Palace. They've only scored 1 of 6 big chances, which is a concern. They need to do better with their finishing, but they've also faced tough opposition. So it could have something to do with that. For example, facing good goalkeepers or defenders that that would block shots and so on. So 4 chances conceded from the right is a function of their first 2 fixtures. So I would say in terms of Palace, it may look like they have a weakness on the right side in the zonals, but I wouldn't be fooled by that because they've faced who they've faced on the
Liverpool.
right side, Liverpool and Arsenal, right? So they've had Martin. It would be from their left side. So it would be Salah and like Saka kind of area. So that was my mistake there, putting right side. For Villa, chances conceded only 2 big chances, but conceded 3 goals versus easy opposition. So Villa's have they're kind of the opposite of Palace. They've had 2 really easy fixtures, and they've conceded more goals than they have big chances, which I thought was interesting. From a shots perspective, Palace only have 5 shots on target. Actually, from all of their attacking stats, and I'll sum this up, their attacking stats from a shots perspective and attacking stats from the expected stats perspective, they're about the same. Palace and Villa have really, really similar stats across the board in these 2 areas. But Palace has faced Arsenal and Liverpool, and Villa have faced Bournemouth and Everton. So I think I think this game is going to not be as close as NetxG indicates here. So NetxG really likes a 1-1 here. It's quite strong in the percentages as well. I don't see that at all. I think Palace win this game. They could win it 3-1. And I'll update everyone, obviously, in Discord. In Discord, for those of you in Discord, I do update all the predictions, and I give the context with all the NetxG predictions. So go to that NetxG channel and get updates there. But I really like a Palace win there. I think I went forward 2 slides. I'm sorry. There we go.
Okay, right. Okay, so Palace Villa. Let's keep going then. If anyone's got any questions or any general comments in the chat, then please drop them in. I've started a couple of chats about Spurs. We'll bring those up a little bit later as just general comments. But yeah, if you've got any chats, please let us know. All right. So the next one should be Everton against Forest.
Yeah, really quickly, before I get to Everton and Forest, because this one I'll fly through. Don't worry, I won't spend too much time here. But before I lose you with Everton Forest, I'd just like to ask, we have 34 people watching. We have about 13 likes. Please do smash that like for us. It gets us known. It gets us heard. Makes us popular. And popularity is a success, I guess, according to the algorithm. So make the algorithm happy. I'll make you happy by going super fast through Everton Forest. Chances, they don't score chances. They don't create chances. They concede a lot of chances. Shots. Everton have 18 shots in the box and 0 shots in the 6. That's quite a feat. They're not getting any penetration. Forest, they have the most shots in the box conceded, 26, and the most shots on target conceded, 13. So they concede a lot of those. Expected stats are not good. The expected goals non-penalty is 2.26 for Everton, but the expected goals on target, so this is how good their shots are, is 1.1. So that's quite a drop from the chance that they create. Not only do they not create many chances, but then they don't do anything with the few chances they do create. And then on the
sounds like a bit of a Sanchezism about Brighton's goalkeeping.
It's a little Sanchezism, a little bit. XG non-penalty for Forest is 1.64. They're the opposite. Their expected goals on target is 2.81. So from the chances, from almost no chances to 2.81 XGOT. And I'm not really sure how that works. Dela's gone to Besiktas. Not that I'm happy for him. I'm glad he went somewhere. But let's see. So NetxG, just really quickly here. So Everton favors a shootout, and Forest may want to keep it cagey. And the reason I say that is if we look at the percentages, so Forest have a roughly equal percent of 1 goal. Forest has a higher percentage of 0 goals, so they're going to want to keep Everton to that 0 goals as well. Everton have a higher percentage of 2 goals, so they're going to want to kind of push the game and try to push for more goals and open it up. I think that's how, if we're reading NetxG, how that can kind of like talk, NetxG can inform tactics in that way. So if I were Frank Lampard, I would be Frank Lampard, so I wouldn't know. I would have no clue what to do with my tactics. But if I were myself in Frank Lampard's shoes, I would try to go for the shootout here.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I mean, I could be in a situation where I've got to decide whether I start Neco Williams this week. And my initial thoughts are that Forest might be a very much home-orientated team to go with. Admitting it's very early doors. It's Goodison Park. You know, as bad as Everton are, it's Goodison Park. You know, and we know what happened when the back's against the wall at Goodison Park. Admitting the back's not against the wall just yet. I don't think it'll be long before it is this season. They don't look very good at all. And they've got serious problems, haven't they? They've got the Calvert-Lewin's out for a few more weeks. The moment Gordon and that prick Gray playing up front, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, they have a prick up front. they have a prick that's leading the line.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a few people talking about Gordon, for example, as an option. Everton aren't for me. They just don't show enough at this moment in time. Get
players from good teams, I think.
Okay, I'll remind you about that one later. Right, okay. Should we keep going?
okay, let's keep going.
Fulham against Brentford, Gabe.
Okay, Fulham-Brentford. Fulham have conceded 6 big chances in 2 matches. Brentford have scored 3 of 4 big chances and only conceded 1 big chance. So the battle of big chances favors Brentford here. Of course, skewed by the United game. That's always a caveat. From a shots perspective, Fulham have only 4 shots on target this season, but they have 2 goals from those shots on target miraculously. Whereas Brentford are joint 18th for shots in the box with 12, but conversely, they're joint 2nd for shots on target at 10, which is weird. They don't have many shots in the box, but they have a lot of shots on target. So just looking forward, I think if those stats continue, if it continues in that way, you would want to play a goalkeeper like Ramsdale, like a good goalkeeper against Brentford, because they could get a lot of saves. On that front, well, I'll get to Arsenal later. Expected stats, not much to say for Fulham. They're poor. And Brentford, they have the highest expected goals on penalty delta, which is basically kind of a loose indicator of form. So this is the goals that they've scored non-penalty minus their expected goals non-penalty, and it's 3.62. That Josh Da Silva.
I was going to say, surely David De Gea's got something to do with this number.
Yes, he's a friend to Brentford.
What was that? 0.02?
The XG on that one, I think, something like that. Yeah,
2 in 100 chances. A 2 in 100 chance.
So from
all you sheep jumping on Da Silva. Mariner questions that, but I question it from my position for sure. Only having 1 transfer doesn't work for me. It might work for others.
Here's what I'll say about Da Silva is that he's been playing the advanced kind of Eriksen role, and that's why he's been getting returns. He's around the box. He's not going to obviously.
Is he nailed?
Nope. He's not
nailed. No, how many other options are there for Brentford in midfield?
Brentford have so many attacking options, and that's what they bought Mikkel Damsgaard for as well.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to come into that role, and then whatever happens to Da Silva, he could rotate in as an 8. He could rotate in with some other players, but he won't be nailed. And especially if you bought him at 4.6, I have a feeling that's going to go down to 4.5 in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Interesting. I noticed Fulham is it 54%? I'm trying to strain my eyes. 54% of not scoring at all. Is it 54 or 54.6?
Brentford with a 54.6% chance of a clean sheet.
Yes, that's
really
interesting.
Nice. I think Raya is the best keeper to own right now. If I were to choose, if I were to start right now, if I were to wild card, Raya would be my goalkeeper. I really like I like what they're doing tactically. They play so many different formations, and all the players still know what's going on. Yeah, it's just a really well run club.
And I noticed this last night. In fact, one of the conversations we're having last night was about Brentford's defense. And the conversation went along the lines of Ben Mee, goal threat, Henry, assist threat. Looking at this, I would have absolutely no problem starting a Brentford defender this week. Absolutely no problem at all.
I was just gonna say Nick Khan is doing just that. I was chatting with him earlier.
I completely agree with him. I think it's a very, very good call. If you have one, play them.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Let's keep going. So the next one is Leicester against Southampton. Now, this is one I'm particularly interested in. This could be a bit of a turkey shoot for me, but anyway, that's my perspective.
Yeah, these are they're very difficult teams to figure out right now. These two teams. So from a chances perspective, Leicester are 0 for 1 for big chances scored, and they have the most big chances conceded with 7. So they don't create big chances. They don't even have an opportunity to score them. They've only created 1. If you see all of their shot maps, there's a great app called 12 Football that I use sometimes. I used it in Gameweek 1 or after Gameweek 2 last week for the content. And it shows you'll see all of Leicester's chances, and they're all really small chances. So they're not getting any of those big chances that you would expect from a counter-attacking side, that they might get few chances, but they'll be big. They're not like that anymore. Southampton, by contrast, they're 2 for 2 for big chances scored. They don't create many, but the 2 that they've created, they've scored, which I thought was kind of interesting. From a shots perspective, Leicester have faced the most difficult shots in the division with a 4.7 expected goals on target conceded. So the quality of the shots that they've conceded have been higher than any other club. But maybe that kind of goes hand in hand with the 7 big chances conceded. If you concede a lot of big chances, you're going to concede a lot of quality shots. So there's something seriously wrong there. Southampton have 0 shots in the 6, but they have the joint most shots on target conceded, 13, and the second most shots in the box conceded, 25. They're 2 bad defenses, 2 teams that from the way they're organized just doesn't work. Djenepo's not a wing back, for example. Target Southampton's left-hand side pretty much every week. Second, which means obviously Madison in this fixture would be the key pick, and I'll get to that in the tactical focus a little bit. I'm going to skip the expected. If you want to check that out, it's more to do about it's about the XGOT delta, low probability shots going in for Leicester. NetxG. So if notice this NetxG is really bizarre. So notice that Leicester is 1.43, Southampton's 1.03. Leicester have a higher chance of 0 goals, equal chance of 1 goal, and a lower chance of 2 goals with a higher NetxG value. And I checked the numbers, and they're all right.
You sure it's not pissed?
I'm sure it's not pissed. So this is actually, last night I'm going through this and my brain's all warped. I'm getting pissed off at NetxG, and then I looked at it. I was like, you know what? This is what I like about NetxG. So because this is context, right? The NetxG number is high for Leicester because there are other metrics involved. So there's a creativity metric that deals with chances, and there's an expected data metric. And those are keeping Leicester's kind of numbers a little bit higher. The shots metric, because Leicester's shots have almost no XG. It's one of the lowest XG per shot in the league. It's keeping the percentage of a goal low.
Yeah, but I mean, look, this is where players like Vardy needs one chance. He just needs one chance to score, and I'm sure he's going to get chances against Southampton. This is where I come from. Southampton. This to me, and we'll come on to the fixture difficulty in a bit, but I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek on this right now. It's the best matchup of the week on fixture difficulty. You know how much the fixture difficulty detests Southampton right now. It really hates them. But look, let's face it. It got the 4-0 result correct. It had a +4 the other day with Spurs, game week 1. Got it right. Four goals. +4 for Man City against Bournemouth. 4 goals. You know, not +4 on this. I'll save you the job. It's not as big a matchup. But saying that, I think it could be easily 3-0. That's where I am. Easily.
Leicester. I don't think they're getting a clean sheet here.
No, maybe not a clean sheet. Actually, saying that, I'll let me rewind that bit. 3-1. There we go. I genuinely cannot see Southampton. If Southampton get something, this is. I'd be very surprised. I mean, you only need to listen to who got the assist, and Lucy, who's a big Southampton fan. Yeah. Just avoid them. Just avoid them. They don't know what they're doing yet. I'm sure they might do in time to come, but no, not for me. I agree, William. He's got 0. You're absolutely right. I spotted it myself. I can't believe it. I'm shocked. It's going to make an interesting conversation when we come to captaincy a bit later.
we always say like a player that goes off right at the beginning of the season, and we say, "Oh, I had him in one of my drafts." Well, I have to admit, I had Vardy in one of my drafts. Thankfully,
me too. Yeah, me too. But then very quickly, just along with about 70% of everybody else, everyone went for Jesus instead. Right? Okay. Yeah. There's a question here. Let's just put this question up actually whilst we're on Leicester. How does Dewsbury Hall feature in the creative part for Leicester, Gabe? 5 million asset. Their fixtures are very much hit or miss, or dynamite or dog poo, as I tend to call them. But when it comes to someone like Dewsbury Hall at 5 million, how does he fit into the overall picture for Leicester?
I mean, I think Dewsbury Hall in a matchup like this could be playing in a more advanced position, especially if Vardy and Maddison and them are pushing the line, and then But I think he's still a player that's developing. He's still young. He'll float into positions at certain times, but he doesn't command that area of the field just yet. So I mean, for 5 million, I think he's probably the best 5 million to have right now. But I wouldn't feel comfortable at that price point. I would want to get either to the 5.5 or the 4.5s, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Yeah, he had a great pre-season as well, didn't he? Really good, really good pre-season. So yeah, probably a player who potentially might bring his form through pre-season, unlike our friend Mr. Bailey.
That's right. and I would say most of his goals are also from outside the box, and those are just unreliable.
Yeah, I'll have a look at Dewsbury Hall at some stage and see if I can put some information together. I might do a little short on him. How about that? Should we keep going? Let's have a look at Bournemouth against Arsenal. Now here's a game that I am very interested in, and I'll tell you what, if there was ever a story about statistics that you want to just consign the whole lot to the bin, this is the game.
This
right?
is the one. Yep.
You know me, statistics, Gabe, but my God, if you listen to this, and I'll tell you what, some of the statistics, some of the metrics and everything, listen to it. This is going to be an interesting 5-minute conversation. Go.
I'll take 3. So
my works. I'm coming back for 2 minutes on it.
Okay. So Bournemouth have only conceded 2 big chances this season, but they've conceded 4 goals. So that's not good.
There we go. Next.
Exactly. Arsenal, they are tied with Liverpool for the most big chances with 7. And Arsenal have only conceded 1 chance from the right side. And I thought that this is an interesting stat, because this could be a sign or a function of the way they play, kind of with their tilted formation, when Saka drops into the wing back role, when they shift from their 4-3-3 to the 3-5-2, and Saka drops into wing back, Martinelli goes up top with Gabriel goes up top with Gabriel, and then they got the Gabriel in defense, and we got the Gabriel on Net That Haul. But when they shift that formation, I think they're just covering that right side a lot more than they cover the left side. And then I think so that's something to watch out. Arsenal's right side conceded. Shots, Arsenal have the second most shots in the box, joint most shots in the 6, and only this stat is interesting because of Ramsdale. So they've only had 4 shots on target conceded, despite playing Liverpool and Palace. Not Liverpool. Who was it? Yeah, Arsenal played Palace, and then they played Bournemouth. Sorry, that's it. So that's not really good for Ramsdale. We think of him as a shot stopper, and that's why you pay the $5 million. So maybe something to consider there. He's not receiving the shots that he's not facing the shots that he has in the past. Expected goals. Bournemouth have 0.72 expected goals non-penalty, but they've scored 2 goals. So I don't expect that overperformance to continue. And Arsenal have the best expected goals non-penalty in the league, 3.95, and the second best expected goals on target 3.71. So right in line with the chance creation. Those two are right in line. City do have the best expected goals on target there. Gabby's rule the world. We're taking over. I'm telling you. Have you seen that the movie? There's a movie, Being John Malkovich, where John Malkovich goes through this portal that goes in the mind of John Malkovich, and then anyway. Watch it. That's what's happening with the Gabriels. Let's see, and then from NetxG,
Leicester. It was Leicester, by the way, the other team.
Oh, it was Leicester, not Bournemouth. That's right, Leicester. Thank you. I'm looking at Arsenal Bournemouth here. They haven't played him yet.
No.
So
it's fine.
NetxG actually likes it's a 68.8. So let's just call it a clean 69% chance of a clean sheet for Arsenal, despite the 1.08 number. So based on the lack of shots that Bournemouth take, remember only 4 shots on target. That's why there's such a high chance of 0 goals for Bournemouth there. And if you look at Arsenal, I mean, when you look at higher chance of 3 goals than there is for 1 goal, I would bet on that 3 goal.
Yeah, there's a 56% chance of 2 goals or more for Arsenal, according to NetxG. So if you look at it like that, and then you consider the fact that who's involved in all those goals, nearly all those goals, right? And nearly all their goals this season. It's not difficult to see why Jesus is in everybody's mind for captaincy this week. I think when we come back to captaincy a bit later, I think I can find a caveat for nearly every single captain option this week. It's a really tough one. For me, it's super tough. I know there's some very obvious choices, but yeah, let's go to that later. But I'm very interested to see what everybody else seems to think. But yeah, very interesting. The obviously big caveat with Bournemouth, of course, they didn't concede a single big chance, did they, at home against Villa? Not a single big chance, right?
Right.
So if you looked at the fixture difficulty for Bournemouth just for that single game, it's actually as good as Liverpool and City. Mm-hmm. So there we go. Again, ignore a lot of the numbers right now. Let's keep going. Leeds against Chelsea, Gabe.
Okay. Leeds, Chelsea. Leeds, so far, they've heavily favored their left side for attack. 13 chances created compared to 4 on the left, compared to 4 from the center and 4 from the right. Chelsea, however, have only conceded 2 chances from the right. So where Leeds are strong, Chelsea are stronger, I would say. So that's not a good matchup for Leeds. Bad news for Leeds right there. Or it could be bad news for Leeds. That's, again, only 2 data points there. From the shots perspective, Leeds are top 3rd for most attacking and defending shots statistics. So like across the board, this is a team, and the reason I wrote it there like that is because I think I certainly still had this idea that Leeds are the same Leeds as last season, and they're really not. They're a team in transition. I think they are getting better. So watch for Leeds in the coming weeks as they have a really nice run of fixtures. Chelsea are joint third for the shots in the box, 22, but they have 0 shots in the 6. Again, that's a big concern. That's a Havertz is not a player to push the line and create penetration into those tight areas in the 6. NetxG, the number itself, it looks quite even, 1.55 for Chelsea compared to 1.24 for Leeds here. Again, I wrote for Leeds, it would suit them to open up the game and look for multiple goals. Whereas for Chelsea, they ought to try to keep it tight and just feisty. Sorry, other way around. That needs to be the other way around. I think that is one of the last ones I wrote last night. Chelsea want to open it up, right? And Leeds should try to keep it tight. I don't think Leeds really can keep it tight, so I do expect this game to kind of like open up a little bit. I think Leeds are going to score. I think Leeds score in this game. They have a 37.3% chance of 1 goal here, and I think that'll come to fruition. But I think Chelsea will score several. Even though Leeds are better defensively, I like Chelsea's chance of scoring 2 or 3 goals. The zonal matchup is why I would wait on a player like Aronson at 5.5 million. I really like him. I thought he could be my Bailey replacement. I've gone in a different direction, but Aronson is on my watch list. I think he's a good watch list player right now.
A very good point, and I think I would make another point about this as well. Leeds are probably a couple of weeks away from where I would probably want to jump on, rather than right now. And I think Aronson is probably where I will be going as well. He's right on my radar. Reece James is going to come up in discussions later, particularly when we start talking about the matchups, historic matchups, not necessarily the matchups this season, but historically. It looks like a very positive matchup for Reece James. And of course, we have a situation with Leeds where there's no Stuart Dallas, players like that. So we've got he's up against Pascal Struijk. So you see, and I saw a clip of James saying, "Oh, there's another assist that James should have had." I mean, James is already returning very nicely. Thank you very much as an asset this year. I have very high hopes for him this week. Very high hopes. If you don't own James, I think you need to find a big sofa.
So, I mean, it's just that matchup against Pascal Struijk is
exactly what we love at Net Haul, right? We love this.
Yes.
This is right up our street, isn't it?
But one thing I will say is I don't expect a clean sheet for Chelsea in this match, and I don't expect a clean sheet for Chelsea against Leicester either. People that are doubling up on like Cucurella, I think Cucurella will provide good value at 5 million. He's decent value now, but you're basically getting a center back in. He'll maybe get a clean sheet against Southampton, but for 1 clean sheet in the next 3, in my opinion.
That's interesting because I'm slightly different to that. I think there could be a little bit more. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's not a double return, but I do take your point that Leeds are looking a different beast, particularly this season, particularly at home as well. So yeah, let's see how that develops. All right, people's waiting for me to swear. I think I did swear right at the start, didn't I? But anyway, you maybe missed it, Lucian. Anyway, let's carry on. Next one, West Ham Brighton.
Just another really quick promotional moment here. We got 52 live viewers, only 24 likes. Get those likes up. We need the love. Who doesn't want the love? We want the love. West Ham Brighton. West Ham chances joint bottom with Forest for only 1 chance created from the center. Antonio, that came to mind right away. And it's going to be interesting to see how David Moyes deals with that problem. Shots. This is interesting. West Ham have 0.44 expected goals on target per shot on target, and that's one of the best in the league. Not quite the best, but so that's for every shot they get on target. It has an post shot XG or expected goals on target of 0.44, which is really, really good. Conversely, Brighton have not faced difficult shots. They've faced 0.9 expected goals on target conceded. So obviously they played United and Newcastle, so they didn't get much from them too. So what's going to happen? You have a team that when they shoot on target, it's a good shot, and you have another team that hasn't really faced any good shots yet. I think that'll be interesting, and West Ham could. I think Sanchez could be surprised in this one with some better quality finishing. Expected goals, West Ham have a 1.95 expected goals non penalty, but 0 goals. So expect that to change and kind of revert back to the mean. Brighton, by contrast, are the 4th best expected goals non penalty at 2.99. Again, with easy opening fixtures. Let's see. Just like NetxG, they're almost the same. They're kind of quite similar across the board. Perhaps Brighton with a higher chance of 3 goals, and West Ham with a slightly higher chance of 0 goals there. But I expect West Ham to play kind of a conservative and pragmatic game to kind of ensure some points at home versus Brighton. They really need these points. They expected some points last week and they didn't get them. So I look them to play on the counter and kind of break into the gaps left by the likes of Trossard and March on the other side. And I think Brighton will attempt to trouble the struggling West Ham backline with their change in formations and runs from midfield.
Yeah, I can see a 1-1 draw here. That's where I'm sort of like sitting, something like that. I think both teams will score. It's an interesting one with respect to Brighton. I quite like the look, and I've mentioned it this week. I quite like the look of Danny Welbeck, given his price point. Their fixtures are very good. And, if you look at their, chances of 2 goals or more is what, nearly 45% or not 44%, something like that. So your guys pick, the NetxG does pick Brighton's chances of getting some goals out there. Going forwards, I probably like them a bit more. But you're right. You make a good point about West Ham's defence. It is a bit patchy at the moment. So, given that Brighton are doing quite, doing quite well at the moment, it could be, maybe perhaps Brighton might just nick this. I've got a funny feeling. I'll stick with the draw.
Stick with it. Yeah, it is a likely draw. Teacher's asking, so the 3-box-3 for that Brighton's playing, that I'll have to get to that another time. That's it's going to be a bit of a longer conversation to go into Brighton's tactics. Maybe we can do that one together, Teach. But then this is a good question regarding any particular weaknesses in West Ham's defense for the attacking Brighton is to exploit. The right half space looks frail against Trossard. I think that right half space where was it Ben Johnson playing out of position and all of that, but I think also Cresswell on the other side has looked pretty weak. So that's why I think they're not going to kind of be exposed there. That I think they're going to stay nice and compact and kind of just absorb Brighton's pressure and absorb the runs and try to hit him on the break. That's just how I see that game going.
Okay. Right, let's keep going. Just a bit mindful. I'm not really worried about time, to be honest, because we've got plenty. I think coming on to the two very, very important games now. Starting with Newcastle against Manchester City. My gut feeling tells me this is not as easy as people think. Another caveat for captaincy. What does NetxG and your lens think about it?
Well, yeah, I think you're referring to Newcastle at home, which have been really good defensively, right? So Newcastle have suffered, have conceded 3 big chances, but they haven't conceded a goal in any one of those 3, which I thought was interesting. I think Pope has had something to say about 1 or 2 of those. They also haven't scored any big chances. City, obviously, they're the opposite. They've had 6 big chances. They've scored 3 of them, and they've conceded 0 big chances. So Newcastle with 2 big chances in 2 matches, scoring none of them, and City not conceding any big chances. Doesn't look good for Newcastle on that front. From a shots perspective, Newcastle have the second most shots on target with 10, which I thought was interesting. But they have the second fewest shots in the box conceded. At home, I think they'll be even better than they've conceded 12 shots in the box. So, and and this is a stat that kind of blew me away. Man City's expected goals on target per shot on target. So every time they get a shot on target, their expected goal on target is 0.54. That's just really clinical. You know, that's over a goal for every shot, for every 2 shots on target. If you're getting, you know, like whatever 6 shots on target, that's 3 goals at that clip, and that's pretty ridiculous. I don't know if they'll continue that clip away to Newcastle though. Expected goals, they have 0.62 expected goals non-penalty, less than half the second best at 1.5. That's expected goals conceded non-penalty. Another late addition last night. So they've only conceded 0.62 expected goals non-penalty. And
you really must spend more time on these. I know you spend hours as it is, man.
Are you kidding me? I hope you're kidding right now. I'm going to move on.
I know you spend hours, bud.
Yes. So, I mean, tactics is, I mean, it's a tactical focus. I invite you to come look at it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's kind of an obvious matchup. NetxG really likes Man City for multiple goals here, but it does like Newcastle for maybe a goal at home. I don't think so. Not with the way City has come out this season.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting one. As I say, when it comes to captaincy, you know, the caveat is Newcastle at home. The big chances and you know, the fact and the chance that, you know, you get a chance, they're going to score or a shot in the box, they're going to get 1 out of 2 of those, or a shot on target, 1 out of 2 of those are going to go in. That changes my mind somewhat. So perhaps that maybe tempers my concern somewhat. Yeah, again, this captaincy is so damn tight this week. Oh my. So whilst we're talking about captaincies and things, we may as well talk about a game which might not even go ahead. If Manchester United fans have got anything to do by it, just get a grip, guys. For God's sake, you could support Grimsby. Scunthorpe even. And now they've really got a problem if you follow Scunthorpe. So look, from my side, yeah. I hope to God this doesn't kick off into violence and trouble and everything. I think we won't know till, I know there's people questioning this already, you know, what we're going to do. I think if it is off, Gabe, we'll all suffer. So I'm not going to worry about it too much because most of us have got 3 Liverpool, right?
Yeah, we're all in the same boat.
Let's go into this one then very quickly, and then we'll start with the other bits.
I think Grimsby would beat Manchester United if they played this weekend.
No doubt, playing really well at the moment.
Manchester United have been favoring their right side in terms of chances created, with 13 on the right compared to 5 on the left and 8 in the middle. They haven't scored any of their 3 big chances. But Liverpool have conceded 5 big chances. So just kind of like, I'm looking at the chances, and I'm looking at NetxG that likes a goal for Manchester United. I think Manchester United might get their goal this weekend, and if this game goes on. So remember we had the Manchester City are at about 0.5 expected goals on target per shot on target. Here's the contrast. Here's Manchester United at 0.14 expected goals on target. So it's going to take them about 8 shots on target to get a goal.
Yeah, but they'll get one this week because I've got fucking Alisson.
Exactly.
There's the swear. Teach. There you go. It didn't take. It took me a while, nearly an hour, to get a real swear word out. But there we go, because that has been a unmitigated disaster so far. So yes, keep going, Gabe. So please, so you're predicting that there is no clean sheet for Liverpool. Thank you very much.
Correct.
Next, right? Okay, carry on.
No, so this stat was interesting because I think this stat is going to show its kind of peak in other metrics, and it's going to show up later in the show. Liverpool are 10th for shots on target, but they're only 10th for shots on target, but they're first for shots in the box. They have 25 shots in the box and only 7 shots on target. That's not very good, like we say, and I think that's going to be highlighted a little bit later on in the show. NetxG likes a goal for United, more thanks to the defensive frailties from Liverpool, not from the attacking potential from United, as we can see by the shots there. And but it likes multiple goals for Liverpool here with an 18% chance of 3 goals and a 10% or almost 11% chance there of 4 or more goals.
Because what's that? 28 plus, I'm trying to read it again, plus 18 plus
46.
11. 57% chance of 2 or more. Oh my God. And then you look at the caveats of everything else, and these numbers are really, at the moment, I think we've got a bit of an issue with the numbers, and what might happen. And I don't think we've been so divergent on some of the numbers compared to the thought processes of people right now. I think in the past, you always find that numbers, there's always going to be a divergence, but I think it's as wide as it's been for some time right now. Bournemouth, for example, Liverpool's stuttering around because they are stuttering, whether we like it or not. They're stuttering, right?
Yeah. I agree. There have been some unexpected results, and Brentford scoring 4 in 35 minutes against United, and all of these things, these are skewing the stats. We just when you have these kind of outliers, it means you need that much more time, right, to normalize things.
Yeah, I think the thing is, you see, again, you look back and you try and look for some solace in previous numbers, but they're not there either for Liverpool. Numbers are just not there. They haven't been there for a while.
Yeah. I mean, since like Christmas last year, or something like
Christmas
that.
last year.
It's true.
True. Very strange one. It really messes with my mind. Right. Okay. That's the end of the matchups for this week. Thank you, Gabe. I do, honestly. I apparently you were staring at me when I said you need to spend more time.
I guess apparently I was. I didn't realize it myself.
Attention to detail, sir. Teacher will be telling you off. He tells everybody off in Discord, by the way.
Yes, he does.
It's a good job we know him, or else someone might take offense.
I can't put attention to detail on any CV that I have. I do not have attention to detail. I'm more of a big picture kind of guy.
I'm only joking. I mean, I think it would be really good are you going to share the outcome of your predictions in the Discord going forwards once we get moving? Because I think that'll be useful as well.
I'm tracking. So the predictions themselves are being tracked on Superbrew, with some other modelers, and I'll share them in Discord.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did well this past weekend.
Yeah, and as we get the press conferences, let's see if we can pop a couple of these little shorts out or something. It'd be quite nice. We don't have to do many. Just see how they go.
It's a good time to announce this. What we're gonna try to do with these is once the pressers come out. I hope I'm around at that time, but to just do like 1 minute matchups and just kind of go over them again, go over the main points, and go over what the pressers said and if that affects things.
Yeah, I think it's great because I mean the whole thing, isn't it? This is what we say about Net That Haul. We don't spoon feed. Just because the numbers say this, you're here because you must like numbers. You must maybe you like what we do, but the point is that the numbers are the numbers. Then you've got to put the context to it, and I think that's key, and that's why I probably am struggling right now with a lot of my thought process for sure. All right, let's us dive in now to the fixture difficulty. So we've done your stuff, right? Hang on, carry on.
They're going to make memes of us and Conte and Tuchel.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. We can have some fun with this. We love this sort of stuff, don't we?
Yeah.
Righty ho. Let me put this back on the screen. So now we're going to start looking at fixture difficulty for the matchups. I've put James Maddison on the screen. That's a surprise, isn't it? Considering you've already called him out earlier in the and you know me. He's another nemesis of mine. So for me to put someone like James Maddison on a slide, I've got to be quite interested in it, to be honest. Let's have a quick look at these numbers. Who has the best fixture difficulty based on my fixture difficulty, not that shite from the official site? And yes, the difference. So the difference between attack and defense, the delta between attack and defense here for Leicester is the best at 2.6. And as I said, we've had fixture difficulty deltas of 4 this season, twice, and both times teams have scored 4 goals so far. 2.6 for Leicester against Southampton, the best matchup of the week. The second best matchup, Chelsea against Leeds, 2.3. Then we look a bit further down to Liverpool against Manchester United, 1.8. Brentford against Fulham. Brentford against Fulham, 1.7. Interestingly enough, a little bit further down. So we're down to 5th before Manchester City appear. Spurs a bit further back. Where are Arsenal?
They're facing the mighty Bournemouth.
I'm just so confused with this. I've looked at the numbers. I've torn them to bits. I've looked again. I've thrown the computer around the room a few times, switched it on, switched it off, plugged it back in again, and it is still a neutral matchup. Arsenal's attack away from home for the data that this metric looks at has not been good. Now, there are tons of caveats, aren't there? We've said. You know, we haven't taken into account the fact that Bournemouth never considered a big chance, by the way. That's not in there. But what we have taken into account is Arsenal's attack historically away from home, and Arsenal away from home historically have not been that good. Even the Palace game, the numbers weren't brilliant. So there we go. We haven't got a lot of data. That is, going to affect metrics. All right, between me and you. So we know what's going to happen with that. We know where it's going to struggle. I'm not saying players like Jesus are a bad pick. I'm saying that the numbers don't necessarily like them. And that's only our numbers. And this is the whole point, isn't it? It's what data set you take gives you the numbers. You then put the context behind it, right? And we'll come on to the captaincy a little bit later. And you're right. Homeless guy, pre-Jesus Arsenal. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But I can't just throw the previous... We've got to treat every team the same. The only way we can do it is to treat every team the same. So, yeah, I think we'll have to look at that. Defensively, let's have a look at that. Spurs against Wolves, 2.5. Okay. Solid chance for clean sheet there this week if you can get the right one. If you can work out which one's going to start. Still... there's been some head scratching going on about that, haven't there? I mean, anyone who went with Sessegnon at the start probably still has him. Probably wants to play him again, right? But yeah, that's a tough one. City 2.3, fairly obvious. Palace against Villa, not good for my Bailey pick, or not pig, hold through gritted teeth, hold. Everton against Forest, possible clean sheet. I think that's a fair... That is an interesting one. Patterson, right? 4.0. Anyone own him?
I think Teacher owns him.
Hey?
I think Teacher owns him.
I'll probably play him.
Yeah.
I might play him. There we go. Might even play him. At home, Everton's fixture difficulty is pretty good, right? For defence. Tarkowski now. Cody. You went there. You went to Everton, didn't you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's good.
Well, the numbers have been good for Everton at home defensively for some time. That's never really changed. I'm not saying they're a good team. I'm just saying the numbers in defence are actually not so bad at home. At home. I mean, if I was weighing up the Neco, Williams, and Patterson, not that I'd own them. I don't know many people would own them both. If you do, well, you must have a lot of money somewhere else. But, if you did, I think that's quite a tough decision this week. I actually think I'd go with Patterson over him.
I think I would as well.
Yeah. Dread saying Perisic with a big warning sign in the chat. Yeah. I think the warning.
No, that's a cap. That's a cap.
Is it a cap? I thought it was a warning sign. Oh my God, there we go. A cap, Captain. Is he drunk? What's going on, man? What time is it there? Have you been on the course? He might not even play.
I don't think he'll start.
I mean, look,
He's
if
not
he
ready to
plays, it
start.
could be a good. If he plays, it could be a very, very good shout. To be fair, but yeah, James Maddison, I think the standout. There we go. Or Leicester, the standout pick. Now, of course, again, caveats: lack of big chances, this, that, and the other. I back them to put this right this week. That's my pick. I think that is the one for me that stands out. Gabe, where are you on all this? Anything I've missed? Anything you want to bring up?
I think the Chelsea attack needs to be talked about here because a lot of people are thinking about selling Chelsea assets like Mount. And I mean, I think, well, I mean, I guess it depends where Mount plays. I don't know if Chelsea's playing with a late runner into the box at this point. But, you know, Leeds have been vulnerable in the past to late runners into the box. But I think Sterling is about to pop. I think he's somebody to keep an eye on. He's a little bit difficult to get to at that price point, but I think he's a player that could get something against Leeds. What else am I seeing here? Oh, the nailed Spurs defender is the one that I have, Lloris. So the goalkeeper, and he's been shit so far, but hopefully it gives me something this week.
I don't disagree with you. It's still probably an easier option than others, but yeah, I mean, interesting, right? Let's see how that goes. All right. Look at that Aston Villa attack, minus 1.9 against Crystal Palace. My God, what a nightmare. Anyway, right.
I think Palace's attack against Aston Villa is quite low, given their matchups, their fixtures, their first two fixtures.
Yeah, it's historic, right?
It's
historic. Yeah. And I think you have to look at that. I know you've got this love of Palace. I don't quite know where it's coming from. I don't know. It's a positive bias rather than negative one.
I like what Vieira is doing tactically. I like how he's developed players. It's true. I do have a positive bias.
All right. We've got the NetxG predictions there, Gabe. We could just keep moving through those. Okay, we've already got those. Unless you want to just very quickly just touch on this as a summary.
No, I don't think there's anything. Like, we went over each individual matchup, so I think we can move on. Just do come back here if you, and this will be posted in Discord as well, and it'll be posted at NetxG on Twitter.
Yeah, it's a nice summary because it does cross-check what we're actually saying. So, I mean, you know, you've got Liverpool top, then you've got Arsenal and City. That's where NetxG and the fixture difficulty diverge quite significantly. Mm-hmm. Is the Arsenal, for example. So there you go. There's another reason to question that Arsenal fixture difficulty, in my view. So I think that's an important caveat which we need to take through.
But the two highest chances for clean sheets: Arsenal at 69% and Brentford at 55%.
Yeah. Okay. And we had Brentford with a 1.7 fixture. No, Brentford with a 0.3 actually. So it doesn't see that either defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem with my fixture difficulty against the data from your side, I think, is as much as anything the fact that we're trying to predict what's going to happen on the basis of previous outcomes. And I think when you look at that, it's quite difficult for these promoted teams particularly. So obviously Fulham are in there. Okay, let's go to the zonals. And this is where I think it then starts to get even more interesting for someone like Reece James this week. He has the standout matchup this week with respect to zonals. Chelsea's right, 5.3 chances expected. Not necessarily big chances, but he's involved in an awful lot, is Reece James, isn't he? City against Newcastle. City's right as well. Well, let's have a go. Let's move across the other way. So let's now look at through the middle. Chelsea through the middle. Mason Mount. Though, did I see someone saying that still dying on the Mount Hill? Well, you might be all right this week is where I would probably come from there. Don't get rid of him just yet. I still think Chelsea's fixtures going forwards are pretty good. And if you look at this on the other side, you can see between Gameweek 4 and 7, Chelsea is second for chances, expected chances through the middle at 19.3. So to me, if you've got him, I wouldn't move away from him. That's where I am right now. Liverpool against Manchester United. Interesting here again, Gabe. we mentioned Salah. Look at those chances on the right. Only 4.2. Where were we last year? 5? 5.5?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not even the best zone for Liverpool anymore. It's through the middle. Do you know what?
I mean, there are more
I'm starting to question him. I'm starting to question him. There we go. I've said it.
So I'm starting to question Salah. I mean, when you're looking at the zonals like this, I think you have to recognize that Trent is stepping into the half space and, in like a front four almost a lot of times, even a front five when Robbo gets in there. That is pushing Salah wider at times. So there's definitely concern there. But by Trent stepping into that half space, that could be adding to the chances in the middle and therefore taking away from like the chances created from the right hand side. So I don't know if it's something to keep an eye on for sure, and just kind of weigh with the other stats that we're getting in at this time.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, it's just caveats, but I'm looking at trends. That all we can do with this sort of stuff is look at trends, and what we're seeing is that those chances have dropped considerably now, dropped, and just like I think I've already used the term. I think I've used the term stuttering. I think I'm going to use the term misfire. I think missing chances. It does concern me a bit. I still think he's absolutely essential. And after all that, I might still captain him because I'm that frightened of him. But it would be a pick based on nothing more than gut right now. If I was to go for someone like Salah, we'll come on to captaincy in a minute. Manchester City's left 4.6. Brighton's left 4.3. Liverpool's left 4. Not much down that left side for some reason this week. Strangely enough, seems like everyone's attacking down the right. Or all the matchups. Maybe don't play your left-sided players. No, I joke. Interesting, though. I do like these numbers. Bear in mind, we are still using historic data. There is not, if you plug the data in right now, I think Leeds' left is ridiculous right now. I think they've had tons of chances down there. They've about 8 chances a game down their left.
Yeah.
All right. So, is that going to be, is Reece James going to temper that, right? Or is it going to stop Reece James from bombing forward? That's another thought. Is Leeds' strength down the left going to temper Reece James? What do you think to that?
Leeds can't stop Reece James.
Would it hold him back, though, is what I'm saying?
I don't think so. It's Jack Harrison bombing down that left-hand side. He'll miss the target. He'll hit an errant pass. I think they'll be all right. And yeah, I think Reece James gets an attacking return here. But like I said, I do think Leeds score. I don't think Chelsea gets a clean sheet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's that. So again, come back to the zonals, guys, if you want to check the numbers out. These numbers are posted in the Discord very, very early in the week, as are all the other stats. They've been there for people to chew over now for, I think, 3 days. 2 days, 3 days now. So yeah, please do consider becoming a member of the channel, and you'll get all that access and more. Gabe, how many likes have we got?
Not enough.
Not enough.
30,
right. Okay.
31. We got 48 people watching.
Right. Okay.
I think it's anyway. not enough swearing. I think that's the.
All right. I'll try and correct that. I'm going to correct it right now. What the fuck's this?
Yes. Perfect.
Right. Okay. So come on, Gabe. Please tell me why you are going for Eze with a XG per 90 of 0.13. Okay. Brilliant. So far.
Because this is not the statistical FPL pick of the week. This is
the heart pick. Right. But anyway, I'm going to put his numbers up as well. Pick. So there's his numbers, right? There's our friend. So, all right. So we'll toggle between the Don Juan and the numbers, because this really brings us to a question of someone like Leon Bailey, and maybe it's too late to discuss it, but I think it's a nice segue into this sort of discussion.
Mm-hmm. So the Don Juan FPL pick of the week is Eberechi Eze, midfielder, 5.5 million. Actually away to Villa, not home, right? No. He is home to Villa.
Yes,
sorry. And the quote from the book, Don Juan, is learning is never what one expects. And I think I'll answer your stats question with that quote. Be like, well, we have all this data. He doesn't have good stats and this, that, and the other, but learning is never what one expects. And the reason I picked that quote is because so last year Eze had a bad injury, but he was still able to develop as a more complete player than he was last season, even despite his injury. And I think the good student gets rewarded at home this weekend. He's had 2 really tough matchups against Arsenal and Liverpool, and he's done different things. He's been the link.
What? No, not Leicester. It was Liverpool he played. Leicester. Sorry, it was Liverpool. It's my bad.
This is. Well, I'm glad we both have a lack of attention to detail. We're in the same boat here, Mariner, on Net That Haul. And what I've seen from him is he's been able to both link play from the center of the field, and he'll move almost like as a seesaw with Zaha. So Zaha will come in, he'll come inside, and Eze will go out to the left. Zaha will go out to the left, and Eze will come inside. And I think Palace's finishing just has not been very good, and they've been this season yet in these tough fixtures. I think in the easier fixtures, Eze is going to have freedom to move further up the field, and I think he could be like kind of push into that false 9 role and even swap as a striker, like in that kind of interplay with Zaha. So I think that starts this week, and we're going to see the real Palace will stand up this weekend, and Eze will be in the middle of it.
I mean, they've got. So they've got, obviously, I'm just trying to say where we are now. So they've got Villa at home. You're not going to play them against City away, eh?
Probably play either Andreas or Neco Williams that week.
Brentford at home. Then Newcastle away. I think that's quite tough. Manchester United at home. Brighton away. Chelsea at home. Leeds at home. Do you know what?
Well, wildcarding by then.
Yeah, all right. But I'm looking at it, and I was quite bullish on Crystal Palace in pre-season. Not with the forwards, I must say, more towards the defending side of things. Forwards-wise, I can never work out which one. I had that Mateta issue last year, didn't I, of course? So from that side of it, I was more interested in defence. But I look at this, and Ron Cupboard in the chat, this is a position to gamble with. I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I just think that are we then, I think with a player like Aronson or someone like that waiting in the wings, I think potentially to explode onto the scene in a couple of weeks. Are we just going to jump again? And these transfers are so precious. So precious. Do we want to waste transfers on that 5 million slot? Personally, obviously, I've got a real big issue because I've only got 1 transfer this week. So I'm obviously more negative about this type of stuff than anybody with 2. That's clear. But yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I
think
Leon Bailey. Sorry, I was going to say Leon Bailey. I mean, probably the ship sailed with him anyway because he's obviously dropped in price already. But if you were to, you've obviously made your move, but who else would you consider if you still, are you on the Josh De Silva boat at 4.6 now, possibly going to be going to 4.7? Statistically, I hate it. I don't mind that a bit. Doesn't appeal to me one bit.
Tactically, it doesn't make much sense to go there. He'll find himself on the bench soon enough as soon as Damsgaard gets in. The thing is, all of these picks around this area have their warts, right? Aronson, it's not the right time. It's a bad matchup for him this week. And it depends like what you need it for, right? I have 2 free transfers. And I don't have many issues in my team. I have most of the template guys. So, some people are talking about, am I like overthinking or over tinkering or anything like that? Well, I think this is a safe move to make. Playing that upside if you have that free transfer. If I don't have it, then I'm in no hurry to transfer him out or anything like that, because I think we saw against Liverpool that he does have the role and the qualities to still deliver in tougher matchups. So I don't think he's an absolute bench in a tough matchup.
No, it's interesting because you get out of that price range and then you're into the grosses of this world, and then Rodrigo, who's probably got a caveat that he might not be nailed long term, I think. So, yeah, I think at that price point, he probably is a decent shout. I think if I was, but it's a punt. I think if I'm honest with myself, if I was going to jump to another 5 million asset, I'd probably go for Dewsbury Hall. But I don't want to waste a transfer. I just don't want to waste a transfer. So I'd sooner wait. Is my position on that one. All righty. So we are, crikey, 125 in. So right, let us have a second. I'm going to play the captaincy metric thing, and then we're going to have a look at that. 1 second. And it gets even more complicated because the captaincy metric this week has picked out Jamie Vardy. And yes, all right. So again, what did I do? I then immediately started to question this bloody thing and looked at it, Gabe. And this is the case for Jamie Vardy. And we've already talked about the case against Jamie Vardy, haven't we? So let's give the case for Jamie Vardy.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to spend too much time because not many of you own him. So we're going to concentrate on the discussion generally. But I'm going to go because he's the top of the metric, so we'll start there. Number 1 for fixture difficulty, ranked. Number 1 for expected points on Hub as well. Now, has that got people's attention? It gets my attention because I quite trust it. Although, probably because I agree with them quite a lot because it hates Southampton just as much as me. But if you look at the data, 4th ranked for hauls, 6th ranked for returns, 2nd ranked for matchups for Leicester Centre. Not many people own him. He's solid. For the stuff that we look at for the captaincy metric this week, wouldn't be at all surprised if he hauls. Wouldn't be at all surprised if we don't get a Vardy party this week. It's probably due one, actually. The next one down is Reece James. Reece James is above some of the other players. Why? Well, lower predicted points, but the matchups have been spotted in this metric. And remember, this is where it's changing somewhat. The metric's just got a little bit more influence now with respect to the matchups. And it really likes him. That Leeds left again. You're concerned about that, the fact they don't keep a clean sheet. I think I take that concern on board. Owning him for me is enough. But he is a damn good player to have in your team this week. You've got to have big balls if you're going to captain him, in my view. I think there are better captaincies out there. Then we go to the Spurs boys, Son and Kane. Only 5 and 4% picked for captaincy, by the way, in the Hub poll, which I'm starting to use now. So won't have a great deal. So they don't frighten me that much, Gabe, this week. That's one of the things I'm thinking here. Fixture difficulty perhaps picks up the old Wolves, Gabe, 3.1 still. So that's not too bad, right? So that's one reason why the matchups might not be, might not see it. And of course, that 3.1's not too shabby. Then we've got Maddison. So there's the second Leicester option. That is punt territory, captaincy. But I'll tell you what, 5% owned could be gold dust, in my view. I quite like that. If somebody, we'll come on to that in a little bit, but you know how it works. I'm looking for a player under 10%, so I think we might hear his name again in a few minutes. Now, let's get to the conversation. Let's get to the conversation at hand. Salah, 62% owned, expected 47% captained out of the poll. So nearly one in two players, FPL players, are going to captain Salah. EO of 109, conservative estimate 109. Is owning him enough? Maybe, but I think our EO understates it somewhat. I'd be interested to see what the real number is for Salah. But look at these numbers. Haul rank 23rd now. 23rd ranked. Returns 26th ranked. His hauls and returns are worse than many players in poorer teams now. His fixture difficulty is 4th, and his points are 4th. The matchup is only 6th. That used to be 1st. I'm really not sold on him, Gabe. I'm really not. But do I expect him to blank? No, I don't. Do I expect him to go mad? I don't know. Where are you on this? Because this is we're trying to combine everything in here to try and come to some consensus decision, right? Doesn't like him.
You can see why, right? It's that the lack of returns and hauls and the rank is so incredibly low. Yet he's still pretty high up there. So that's, I don't know how much weight do we put on the haul rank and the return rank when those being so low, yet him still being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, despite being 23rd for haul rank and 26th for return rank. I think speaks quite highly of him. So that's the part that scares me.
Yeah. The comment here, what's happened to the captaincy metric this year? The answer to that is nothing. What's happened is Mo Salah. Yeah. Because I can move this forward now, and I'm going to come back to this slide. There we go. There is the previous captaincy metric. Where is Salah? He's in 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13th. Behind Foden, Welbeck, Bowen, De Bruyne, Cancelo, Kane, James, Son, Haaland, Maddison, James, and Vardy. Or Jesus and Vardy.
Welbeck is above Salah.
Welbeck is above Salah. We're now going to say that this metric is wrong. It's not been wrong for 80% of the bloody season last year.
And the year before that too.
So are we saying that the metric's got it wrong? There is a massive, massive question about Salah right now with the numbers. Now, is it just the fact, like someone said about Vardy? Is it just the fact it's just a matter of time before he goes crazy? It could be. But I'll tell you what, I'm not sold on him at all. In fact, I'm not even sold on owning him right now. That's where I'm starting to get another couple of blanks, and I'm seriously starting to question it. Maybe Ducky's onto something. I don't know. Brave. Maybe he's trying to find a way to get to him. Who knows? We don't quite know what he's thinking.
He'll bring him in on his wild card.
At the moment, you can see why he's not the highest owned player in the game, right? Haaland next. Okay, 60% owned, 10% captained. All right, not going to kill us if we don't captain him, I don't think, this week. 7th for hauls, 5th for returns. Matchups not liked on this case. So that's the Newcastle factor of up there, which is interesting. Prediction rank is 7, so average 7, rank 6. Yeah, okay. Not a bad captaincy shout. We can caveat Newcastle as much as we want. We can caveat Manchester City as much as we want. Is Haaland a bad shout? No, he's not. Would I captain him? Probably not. I think I'm drawn to these two high EO players because that's the way I play the game. Because the next player down there is Jesus, 78 goddamn % owned. Gabe, what the hell is going on? It's ridiculous, isn't it? 78%. It sounds like his headphones have packed in. 30% captained, 108 roughly EO. I think that could be low, but the fixture difficulty is not liked. And that's why if you looked at the fixture difficulty, if you change that because of the weighting of the fixture difficulty, he'll jump up. Interestingly, though, what else isn't liked on this? Hub don't like his predicted points. 11th ranked. So the fixture difficulty's got 11 and the hub points is also 11th. But he's third for hauls and first for returns because he's only got a small amount of data. Another caveat. 16th for matchups. Yeah. Interesting. And then you have Raheem Sterling. Another very close call for a differential captain this week, in my opinion. Third for fixture difficulty. Fifth for predictions. Obviously, hauls are not there yet. Probably a matter of time before he starts becoming a conversation point in my mind. Anything you want to add? I mean, I'm going to put the other metric up now, but before we just nip across, anything you want to just make a point on this? Because we're obviously looking at it a different way, but when we add the next metric in, which I'll do now actually, it's, the old metric still tells a similar story, right? Vardy second. Jesus first with less data. Normally he wouldn't be there, right? So that would have been a Vardy captain in last year's metric as well.
Yeah, Jesus just squeaks by him there, right?
He does because he's got less data, right?
Yeah.
And obviously his returns, he's only got two. He's only played 2 games, right? So obviously that's going to have a higher percentage. But saying that, he's got these returns, right? Nobody can criticize the fact that he's changed Arsenal and he's on fire right now. Solid captaincy pick. Look at the metric number. If you remember the numbers from last year, look at that number.
What? That's like a double game week number.
Yeah, it is. Loves him. Yeah.
Interesting.
Vardy's 3 hauls, 4 returns in the last 3 occasions of hauls, 4 occasions of returns in the last 6 game weeks. Yeah, is he going to all of a sudden, his leg might fall off, but, is it all of a sudden going to get to a point where Vardy becomes a bad option and playing Southampton? I think not. I think he's very solid this week. Yeah, and there we go. There's other comments now. Is this the last season metric? Yes, it is. Look at Salah. I completely agree. I am getting to the point where I am lost for words, Gabe, and that is very rare.
It's interesting because our perception of Salah hasn't really changed yet, right? Certainly not in relation to what the numbers are doing.
Do you know what I did? I actually took the metric and I was building the metric during last game week. And I put Salah down as expected 2 returns and I put it in and it propelled him quite a way up. He doesn't need many returns to start getting back into the conversation. But he doesn't need many blanks to disappear. And he's disappearing fast because other players are better options right now, given the data. But then it's Mo Salah. And we can't ever ignore that. This is as tough a captaincy decision as I have seen probably for 2 seasons. Because there's so many caveats. Lack of data for Jesus, Arsenal away, Newcastle at home for Haaland, Vardy without a shot on target, XG 0.00. Yeah, Salah misfiring Mo Salah. Oh my, KDB's there or thereabouts, but not too high because it doesn't like the fixture difficulty. If you looked at Manchester City order, you go with Haaland, then Cancelo, then KDB on this case. If you looked at the old metric. Yeah, it's a very, very, very tight call this week. And it will be. This is FPL variance at its very best, boys and girls. Oh, dear. It's not looking good. 13 million player at the bottom of the captain metric. It is not. He's not at the bottom. It's just the bottom of the screenshot. I've left him on. There's a lot more players there. Gabe, that's the captaincy metric. Should we just go to questions?
Yeah, I think so.
Else? I think we've covered it quite well, right?
Do you know who you're captaining?
Do I know who I'm captaining? It will be between Salah and Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm siding with Jesus at this minute. I think owning Salah might be enough. Jesus, given his EO, the fact he's nearly 20% more owned more than Salah, I think it could. Although what you could find is that the hordes just go for Salah, but you could equally find that maybe the hordes might just look at those 4 returns and recency bias leaps into the game, and then they all go for Jesus. I can't call it.
It's hard to call, yeah.
I can't call it. What spooks me a little bit is the 47% captaincy, the poll on Hub for Salah, and I've seen other polls which are actually slightly higher. What's our poll say today in the chat? I did put it in. I'm not on YouTube. I'm just on the StreamYard.
I had it earlier. I shut it off as well.
Oh, did you? All right, don't worry. We can look later anyway. That's not a problem. Let's answer some questions then. So we've got in the private chat, Gabe, questions from the haulers.
Mm-hmm.
So Jonathan with 2 N's. Cucurella until wildcard, yay or nay, Gabe?
I say nay. I say after wildcard, maybe look at it then. But right now, I say nay.
Okay. You don't like the double up? I've considered it actually.
I don't like the double up. Not right now. I don't think Chelsea keeps a clean sheet in 2 of the next 3.
Okay. Next one was Bailey replacement. So I think we've covered that. I personally don't like De Silva. That's my view. Dewsbury Hall for me. If I was going to go for someone, perhaps with an immediate impact this week as well. That's another thing which I quite like. If I went for Dewsbury Hall, I'd play him 100%. I'd play him this week. Would you buy Brentford, Brighton, or Newcastle? I think it's a bit of a strange question here, but I think this might be linked to the Bailey side of things. Brentford would be De Silva. Brighton, who have we got there? So it was Gross, wasn't it? Solly March. Lallana. God, we're scraping the barrel now, aren't we?
I think Brentford could also be Wissa. I think Brentford will go back. They should go back to the 4-3-3, and Wissa plays on the left hand side in the 4-3-3.
Just keep reeling. And Brentford could be, or it could be, or it could be, or it could be, or it could be.
If it's just team, Brentford for me. They're the most interesting of these.
Tony or no one for me for Brentford. That's it.
Tony's a great.
Tony or no one.
Such a good pick.
One player. Newcastle midfielders not for me either. FPL Craig, what are your thoughts on Mitrovic and Tony instead of a 7 million midfielder till we wildcard? Talismanic is in his words and goal scoring threat appeals, especially Tony with very good upcoming fixtures. I did a short on replacements for Nunez. Silly boy, wasn't he? I'll let you have a little go about that in a second. I know you're dying to. I ranked them Tony, Welbeck, then Mitrovic.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, 30 seconds on Nunez. Don't you give me this I told you so, because you didn't know he was going to headbutt someone, and he started.
My thing with Nunez is he's not as good as everybody thinks he is. He takes shots and headers off target, and it turns into a pen, and then the FPL community screaming that he got an assist. It's not a fucking assist, and it was going off target anyway. It was a terrible header that was going off target anyway. He scores this one goal that they say, oh, it was an incredible Cruyff goal. No, it came off the defender and then hit him and went in. So that wasn't, give him credit for that anyway. He wasn't a starter in his team. People are ripping their teams up to bring him in, taking hits. Check out Sam from the FPL Banger, took hits to bring the guy in. Luckily, he started, so okay, not bad call. But he's a kid, and he's an impetuous kid, and he's not as good as you think he is. So he got sent off. And I would never predict that, but serves you right for going in early.
I reckon it'd be quite good for UFC. I'd be quite impressed with that. That'd be all right. Maybe he's practicing his headers.
Anderson owned him in that game. Joachim Anderson, one of Palace's best players right now. Great center back, really good.
So anyway, you've
really
had
good game against Arsenal too.
Do you agree with me, Tony?
Yes,
Tony. Mitrovic, that order? Yeah, I think so.
I think maybe Mitrovic above Welbeck. I do like.
Okay,
I do
that's
like
fair enough. I think
Tony's a great
for
pick.
me, I'm going on fixtures, and also if you look back at Welbeck's numbers at the back end of last season, were very, very good as well. He's just carrying on.
That's true,
right? Whereas Mitrovic, obviously, his numbers were great, but he was in the Championship at 66 or 73% easier defenses. And he missed a penalty, so I took a number off him. Actually, that's what I've started doing. By the way, if you miss a penalty, the number comes off the metric. I take a return off. That's just because I've just felt like it. It's my metric. Right, Rubber Ducky, in the middle of my night, commented, the consistency of KDB can't be ignored, surely. Well, we never ignored it last week, mate. He is not known for exploding, but he does consistently, especially at home and in a better side, making a better pick than Salah and cheaper. I hear you. That's all I'm saying. I hear you. I am starting to get itchy fingers. I think we need to watch it for another couple of weeks. I don't dislike the KDB move. I don't dislike the KDB pick. I think, the issue is it's that flexibility of having two. I would only have one or the other. I think. I don't think I would have Salah and KDB because I'm a bit too concerned about what's going on up front with respect to probably Haaland more than I'm not so worried about Kane right now because his ownership isn't that high. Probably won't be all season.
That's the problem with KDB, right? Is that it locks you into because I think you want Haaland, so it locks you into two premium City players, and that's all your eggs in one basket. I don't know. I think I'd like to diversify a little bit.
Saying that, look, where does City sit in the metrics, and where does City sit in the in the fixed difficulty? Right at the top, and rightly so. So it's probably as nailed as it comes when it comes to City. Not like my Phil Foden pick, which I love it to bits. I loved him to bits last week till he got substituted at half time. But yeah, there we go. That's that one. So, okay. So, Craig, following on from Ducky's comments, if you didn't have Haaland, yep, that's me. Not me, Craig. Would you favour getting him or KDB in? I have Sterling and Chelsea have good fixtures. I like that Sterling pick. My wife's actually picked Sterling as well, doing quite well. She's actually ahead of me in the OR at the moment. Won't last for long. But switching to one of these seems the most predictable routes to points going forward. I think it's the safest route to points. Personally, I think is Haaland. And I think the safest shield sort of move. No doubt Haaland will go mad, in my opinion. Maybe every other week. Maybe as much as that. Let's see how it goes, Gabe. Where are you with this? Would you pick Haaland over KDB?
No, I think still Haaland is the shout there for sure.
Yeah. All right, no problem. Right, let's dive into the other questions then on the chats. We're not taking any Twitter questions this week because we want to take your questions on the stream. So, and also the Discord questions. So if you want to get a question, you need to come onto the show. Don't DM me, don't send messages because we haven't got time to answer it because we're trying to answer the haulers and we want to spend time preparing the show for you guys. So remember, if you haven't hit like or subscribe, please do and hit the bell as well because we rely on you boys and girls. Gabe, let's have a look at some of these starred questions and comments. I'm going to whiz through these. A couple of comments here about Spurs. Feels like Richarlison completely changes Kane. What do you think to that? Do you think that's the case? Or it's too early to say, possibly?
Way too early to say. I think he's going to have a multitude of roles for this team. One of them is to play in a front two. Kane could play as a 10 if he played in that front two. Another one is to press. So Richarlison is great at positional awareness, and his involvement in the pressure from the front is really, really good. Yeah. So when they need that, he'll come in.
All right. Question from Kevin. Looking forward to catching up in the morning. Good morning, Kevin, when you're watching this. Presuming the United-Liverpool game goes ahead, is there a chance the protests or chaos affects the player's performance, i.e. Salah, such as captain? I think there's plenty of other things affecting his performance right now. I don't think it makes a blind bit of difference.
I don't either.
No. Personally, I'm not too worried about that. If it doesn't go ahead, then Just have a good. If you're going to captain him, just make sure you've put your vice on Jesus. It's my advice.
Yes.
Tony or Havertz? Very quick.
Tony, even if Havertz was $1 million cheaper.
Okay, fair enough. Righty ho. Let's have a quick look. So some more comments. I'm trying to just pick the general comment here. And again, Gabe, I think this is just the way of where we are this season, this week from Steve. This week's captain's choice is tough. It's hard.
Tough.
None particularly stand out due to most playing away from home and tough defenses. I don't know about Bournemouth being a tough defense. Playing away from home for sure. We know said about Newcastle. It is tough. It's
tough. The first big differentiator of the season. This is it. This is some people are going to get cut.
Yeah. Connor, I have Haaland and Kane currently, so these numbers make me question if I can go another week without Jesus. I don't think you. Well, I don't know. Could I maybe wait another week? You could always wait, but he's gonna hurt you, right?
I mean, it's the things that you can do with the money, like Kane and I don't know, and Josh Da Silva or Andreas Pereira to Jesus and like Mason Mount. Or I'm not working the numbers, but like it's the delta is.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The principle is you can move the money around somewhere, can't you?
Yeah.
Maybe you could get to Reece James, who I think probably one of the best picks of the entire game week. If you don't have him, that's another player I think I'd be behind the sofa this week, quite frankly. So yeah, I think I think the ones to hide behind the sofa for this week, I think are Jesus and probably someone like Reece James. For me, those two really stand out. Sofa. Well, I might have a sofa spot with a player popping his head over the back of a sofa. Might do that in future. I don't know. I quite like that idea. Yasnik, is it worth to take a -4 for Robbo and Bailey to Duncan Diaz? Right. So this is an interesting one. Moving money out of Liverpool defence and putting it into Liverpool attack.
I like the idea. I think I'd have to see the rest of the team, see if he's. I mean, it sounds like he is taking care of the issues though. Like Bailey's an issue, and if he wants to reinvest in that way, I think it's worth it. I think if he were on Wildcard, he would definitely do it. So I think it's worth it.
Or keep Robbo and upgrade Bailey to gross. That's the other part of it.
That's tough because the previous one you're taking a hit, and that's not good. Here, this is without the hit. So I would probably do this and then do the redistribution of funds with your Wildcard.
The other thing I would say, I mean, look, I've looked at the predictions for clean sheets, and 3 out of the next 4, Liverpool have got over a 50% chance of a clean sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sat with Alisson, who, quite frankly, I would love to downgrade to someone like Sanchez next week. And that would then propel money into the spare money that I've got. Okay, I would then probably just do a straightforward swap from probably someone like Foden to Diaz. Or I could even go Alisson to Edison, Foden to Diaz is another, even considered that. So, you know what I mean? It's a tough one. You can just bet your bottom bloody dollar what's going to happen. The moment I move off Liverpool, defence double, they'll start keeping clean sheets. It's just written in the stars, isn't it? Fuck. Rubber Ducky, surely Jesus is the captain for game week 3. Well, he could well be, mate. People cannot see. Would you get Perisic from Abdul Rahman, Gabe?
Nope.
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
Is Xhaka the 4th best Arsenal asset from FPL Pharmacist? Well, what's the point? Who cares?
No, he's not.
I'm not bothered anyway because I've only got 3. I can only have 3. And I mean, look, the 3 Arsenal assets. Give me a priority for your 3 Arsenal assets right now, Gabe. 1, 2, 3. Off the bat.
Martinelli, Jesus, Zinchenko.
Yeah. Because I think Saliba, might be in danger. He's 4.4. He might not be long term. I would probably go Jesus, Martinelli. I'd go the other way around. And then it's very, very close. I reckon there's 3 players you could consider perhaps before Xhaka, if you me. Ramsdale.
Yep.
Gabriel.
Yep.
And Saliba.
And Zinchenko.
No, and Zinchenko. Sorry, Zinchenko.
And Saliba.
And Saliba. That's 4 more.
So Xhaka might be the 8th Eighth best Arsenal asset.
And he is a walking red card.
Yeah.
Isn't he? In my view, anyway, he's prone to a bit of is prone to some lunacy, right? Oh, righty ho. What else have we got, Gabe? Anything else? Can you see anything else flying around?
I think that's all of them. Let me check the live chat, see if any new ones have come in while we've been dealing with those. Okay. Yeah, we do have a few new ones. I'm just starting.
Let's be quick because we want to be out of here by 2 hours. So
there's one, there's two. You see them in the stars?
Hang on a second. Starred. Righty ho. Bench Wilson or De Silva?
Bench De Silva. Play Wilson.
Yeah, you never know, do you? He's at home, right? He's always get something. Robbo to James still has TAA.
Yes.
Saves a bit of money.
Frees up some funds. Yep.
It does. Yeah. The only thing I would say is they've got Bournemouth the week after, right?
Yeah.
So it feels it's one of those where this week you're going, yeah, I'm not so keen on this. I'm going to go for James. Next week you're going to look at it and go, oh, I might go to Robbo.
Well, I think the assumption is that with the money that frees up, then you get Diaz or someone else in midfield. Yeah, you get an attacker against Bournemouth.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. All right, unless there's anything else, I think we'll get out of here.
We have two more I put in there. Do you see them?
Two more.
So here, I got it right here. Here we go.
On the screen.
From C Hunt, if I have a 3 million with Salah, Haaland, Kane, do I hold for one more week or transfer one out for Jesus? I say sell for Jesus.
Yeah, I think I'd personally go to Jesus from Kane. That's me.
Me too. Good. Jones bloke, Robbo to James, still have TAA. Just answer this. Yep. Looks good.
Robbo to James. We just done that one. Yeah, we just done that one, right?
Sorry.
That one. Bench 2 out, Neco, Wilson, or De Silva.
Bench De Silva. I think De Silva will be benched anyway, so that's tough.
Bench 2 out of Neco, Wilson, or De Silva.
Basically, play one of these. Which one are you going to play?
Play one. God, Wilson.
That's tough, Wilson. I guess I'll say Wilson.
Maybe Wilson.
That's hard, though.
Maybe Wilson. Yeah. I could oppose all of it. I could oppose them all. I don't. It's just one spot, thankfully. Have a look. Plug it into one of the prediction programs if you don't trust us. That's often what I do. I don't trust myself. Right. Okay. I think that'll do us, Gabe. Bailey to Dewsbury Hall. 1 week punt. Why? You wildcard afterwards?
Do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Good fixture. Do it.
Yeah, for sure. Right. All right. So, Gabe, let's just hang on a minute. What am I doing? Hide the current comments. That'll do. Let's get out of here. Thank you very much, as always. Always a pleasure to see you. And hopefully you're not going to beat the living daylights out of me afterwards when I told you to spend more time on your matchups.
I'm going to go get to work. Sorry. I'm going to work on next week's starting now.
I do that. The moment the show finishes, I actually prepare for the following week.
Me too. I was going to go away for the weekend, but I'm not going to go away anymore. I canceled all my plans. I'm joking.
Get to LA or wherever you're going. Guys, anyway, as always, we are Net That Haul. It was an absolute pleasure to be here, as always. Do catch all the content from all the things. We mentioned it right at the start of the show. TikTok, Instagram, all the shorts that we're putting out. Give us some feedback. Hope you like this. Hope you like the other VODs. And, yes, what else can we say? Get on, so I've got a baby in the room now, for crying out loud. There's an arm appearing. What are you waiting for, everybody? Best of luck for next week, Gabe. Cheers. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Let me just try and, oh my God, here we go. I'm getting confused now. This is always
the awkward goodbye. Bye.
No, it's all right. No problem. Right. See you, everybody. Bye-bye. Take 2. Bye-bye.